Lowestoft is a coastal town in East England, and for many it is a point of interest.
The interest being the reputation the town holds of the crimes that take place, having over 1,000 more cases of violence and sexual assault than any other crime in the town. It also upholds the reputation for the irresponsible youth culture that is riddled with and known for its drug abuse.
However, the youth have access to numerous activities and venues available to them at all times, including clubs, an independent cinema, arcades and 3 theatres across the town which can be enjoyed by all families residing there.
Unfortunately, these families reside in cramped, claustrophobic streets that are duplicated through every single residential area in the town, leaving no room for character, creativity, or parking.
The town certainly isn't short of character, having beautiful architecture found in the stunning churches, traditional taverns and prosperous cemeteries.
Any architectural history that could be argued to be found has been stripped from it, constantly having renovations such as the library, or being replaced entirely by the infinite number of chained restaurants and properties that plague areas like the iconic High Street.
Lowestoft's entire identity isn't confined to the High Street. By looking further afield, you will find pubs and taverns that still remain as gushing with glamour as they were when they were made, not to mention the educational venues like the Maritime Museum or Transport Museum.
If a train museum doesn't bore you quite enough, then taking a look at the demographics for Lowestoft, well, the lack of diversity is certainly reflective of the non-existent ethnic myriad found here, with a colossal 98.6% of the population here being white.
The diversity doesn't remove any allure from the town. It's bejewelled with a plethora of historic monuments and memorials for the history of it, reminding you of the valiant efforts of the soldiers, or sculptures of Greek gods serving as reminders of the development of the seafront, which is widely considered to be one of Lowestoft's most defining and gorgeous attributes.
You can come to appreciate the seafront if you spend a few days here in the summer, otherwise you're met with outlandish levels of wind and sea. Not to mention the inevitable amount of hideous storms and overcast days that plague the majority of its monotonous presence.
Which you would notice if you spent time exclusively out on the beach during winter, rather than appreciating or utilising the other exhilarating facilities present, such as the Piers Arcade, dining, cafes, entertainment venues, or not appreciating the natural beauty of the waves, or the vibrancy of the beach huts. Not to mention Ness Point, the most easterly point in England, the United Kingdom, and the British Isles.
Sure, Ness Point would be a significant piece of scenery that separates Lowestoft from other mediocre locations. It's a shame you turn around to be engulfed in the repulsive industrial estate that removes all charm or subtlety to the significance of the geographical location.
The repulsive industrial estate you talk about not only remains an essential part of Lowestoft, holding a large energy centre as well as Gulliver, Britain's tallest wind turbine producing energy for the national grid.
Well, it's good to see that the industries are keeping such an important landmark clean and not completely submerged and inundated with litter and various abandoned debris. I also don't know how far it's called Birdseye Factory a necessary feature of Lowestoft's economy.
The Birdseye is relevant because of Lowestoft being originally a fishing town, which you'd be aware of if you paid even the slightest bit of attention to all the remarks to seafaring history of the town as aforementioned.
Well, I can't say I was thoroughly gripped by the oversaturated references to an economy entirely dependent on fish, unfortunately, but
maybe if you attempted to show even the smidgen of appreciation for the town you're talking about, I'd accept
it's not
your
my
argument,
fault that the study of this
instead you're focusing
documentary
on
was
the minor
arguably the most
discrepancies and
mundane
being
and boring
facetious
town
about
in
every
Hong
single
Kong.
aspect of the town. It doesn't
Like
exactly have
Stanford
the
or
glaringly
Whitby,
broken
where you can
issues
see an
with it.
abundance of
If you treat
positive
everyone
things
like
rather
an
than
extreme
searching for the
pessimist,
tiniest
as you have in this documentary, then obviously it's going to appear
town.
like a crazy monotony, but the fact is it does have character and it isn't exclusively riddled with crime and other moronic suggestions that you decided to throw in. It has life in its buildings and people and sea life, which maybe you'd be able to notice if you wanted to. You're being childish about the whole deal. You shouldn't try to debate with every single word said to you if you have a different opinion.